going to have you guys try a style of art called Notan. Notan is a Japanese term for a balance of black and white. You're going to start with a piece of smaller black paper and a larger piece of white paper. Eventually you're going to need glue, scissors, but we'll start today with a pencil. You're going to draw a design onto this black piece of paper. I need you to cut out at least 10 shapes. You can cut from all edges. I want to see you cut off of all edges of this. Every piece that you cut, so let's say you cut a circle down here, you're going to take that piece, flip it out, and glue it onto the white part of your paper to create this interesting balance of black and white and an extreme contrast of black and white. I went ahead and started my drawing already. I'm going to try to do a little garden-y thing here. Let's count my shapes. I've got 1, this is going to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I only at that point had cut from one side, two sides of my paper. So I added some clouds up here. So I'm cutting something off that third side. And I'm going to go ahead and add another cloud shape, I think, over on that side. So I've cut something off of all 4 edges of this black paper. Use your scissors, cut away. If you would like to cut something from the middle of your paper where it's not touching the edge, see me and I will show you how to use an X-Acto knife. Remember, when we cut, scissors don't turn. I'm not taking my scissors and going like this and around and left, right. Scissors only can walk forward. So scissors munch walking forward. That's what I tell my younger students. What changes is the paper. Watch me cut this flower. Only the paper will turn. I will never turn my scissors. Once you finish cutting everything out, don't lose any of your pieces, even those little ones. I'm going to go ahead and start by gluing down my main piece. We still need this, so hopefully you were treating it kindly as you were cutting away. I like to flip it over. If it works for your design, flip it over so all these little pencil marks that are left on my paper, they're going to be hidden and I will have a nice clean piece of black paper. I'll be doing the same for all the pieces. Use some scratch paper to put the glue on the back of this, and then once you're done putting the glue on, we are going to flip it and glue it down centered in your piece of white paper, your larger piece of white paper. I'm just grabbing another piece of scratch paper that's clean, there's no glue on it, to give this thing a good massage, really rub and push it down. It's hard to rub and push down on all those little cut pieces. Sometimes you end up bumping them and they peel back on you, which is frustrating. It's time to grab all those little pieces. I'm going to keep this scratch paper handy as I glue them each down. So first I'm going to start with arranging. I got to find them all again and get them set up here. So let's see. For example, this little cloud shape came from the top up here. So let me fit it again and make sure I've got it correct. Now I'm going to flip it. It's going to flip away from the piece that I cut out. Unfortunately, some of my pencil marks are showing. If you worked in pencil, I worked in a white pen so you could see on the screen. If you worked in pencil, take a moment and use the tip of your eraser and erase out any pencil marks you can see so that you're turning in a really clean piece of art to me. I'm going to go along and do this for each of my shapes. I'm going to find the shape that matches the cut, and then I'm going to go ahead and flip it to glue it outside of my artwork. Sometimes these things go off the page because of your design. That's okay, just let them go off the page. Once that glue dries, we need it to dry, I want you to fill in each of the white spaces on the inside of this rectangle using skinny Sharpie. So I have thin Sharpies. I want you to fill them in each with a different pattern. My favorite is to have kids search Zentangle on Google Images to look for ideas of interesting, unique patterns that you can incorporate into this project. So the second part of this project really is thinking about pattern in our line work using that thin Sharpie. You're welcome to start in pencil and then switch over to the Sharpie, or you can go ahead and just get started right away with your Sharpie if you're feeling confident about your design. Real quick though, before I move on to drawing with Sharpie, I want to show you where I made a mistake in this, where I could have planned ahead better. It's a little hard with my camera, my dock cam here, to show you this, but I'm going to try to lift it up so you can see my entire page. Do you guys see how my images are hanging off? If I'd been thinking ahead a little bit more, I could have centered my original rectangle higher on the page. Look at all this white space I just wasted up here. I could have had this onto the white paper. I'm so annoyed I might even cut off part of this and glue it down here. So if that happens to you, it happens. But take a moment and think ahead. Do you have long shapes somewhere that you're cutting out? Are they going to need extra room, and can you manage that? So think ahead a little bit before you start gluing down your pieces, unlike Mrs. Collins. I'm about done with filling in all those white spaces with patterns. Before I end this video though, I want to show you one thing about pattern drawing. We don't take an ink pattern and, how do I say this, just squeeze it into the space. What I want to see you do, let me focus here. What I want to see you do is think of your patterns like a wallpaper, and we've cut out a little window and we can see part of that wallpaper. What that means is that here's my pattern. It's a circle design right here. I didn't just squeeze in another circle there or leave it blank. I have a partial circle. It's like it's disappearing and maybe it's back here and I just can't see it. That's what I want to see you do with all pattern work. If you take a look here at this one, I've got these loops. I have them going off the page, so they're disappearing here somewhere. It's almost like someone took wallpaper and cut it out with a pair of scissors. Don't just squeeze your design into a space and leave a bunch of blank stuff along the edges. Check that out here too. You can see where my design has been cut off on the edge. I worked right up to the edge with that. And that's it for your Notan pattern design.